Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am so glad you are here with me. My name is Carrie Dahle, and I am your host. I am an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, manifester, and motivator. And I am on a mission to empower you to create the life of your dreams. If you are looking to up-level your life, relationships, finances, productivity, and success, you have come to the right place. I will share with you tools, resources, strategies, my failures, and my successes that have all helped me achieve the life of my dreams. It is my goal with this podcast to help you see your potential and empower you to create the life of your dreams. So let's get to it. Today, we are talking all about habits. It may sound a little over the top, but habits say everything about who you are. Think about that for a minute. Close your eyes and think about someone, anyone that you know. Imagine that person very, very clearly. What habits do they have? Does that person meditate daily? Do they exercise regularly? Do they journal? What do they do? What comes to your mind? Those habits that come to mind when you think of that person, those are the things that person is working towards, or that they want to be, or they already are. Now, sit back and ask yourself, what habits do others think you have? When you make that list and you think about what others might think of you, don't get judgy and don't feel bad about anything, but just be honest and truthful, because you really want to look at what that looks like. Because if you feel like you are exhibiting behaviors that are in line with where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do, but that list that you write down that you think others see in you doesn't align with that vision, well, then you probably should reevaluate. I want to ensure that you are not saying one thing and doing another. Align your habits and actions with what you are saying. Strive to build habits that support your goals. So much of what we do is done subconsciously every single day. That is why habits are so important, because once something actually becomes a habit and isn't just an action that you're taking and reminding yourself to do, but it's actually truly a habit, well, then you are subconsciously creating the life that you're working towards, the life that you are dreaming of. Because to succeed and manifest our dreams, we have to have good habits. I don't know about you guys, but when I feel like I am not manifesting or excelling or succeeding in the way that I wish that I was, I have to shake up my routine. I have to relook at things again. And, part of that comes with Jeff's and my Triple R trip, our reflect, recalibrate, and re-energize trip. But I find myself doing that, every few months. I find myself thinking, am I really achieving everything that I'm after right now? Or have I kind of fallen into a lull? And sometimes I'm on fire and hitting it hard and there's nothing I can complain about. But other times I find that I need to relook at it and I need to mix up my morning routine and I need to mix up what I'm doing and I need to reset my intentions. But building habits is a challenge. And unless you know your why and you have a plan and you make it realistic, you won't succeed. But you can succeed and you will succeed, but only if you know your why, you have the plan, and you make it realistic. So let's dig into that. I've discussed with you guys before about your intention for the year and finding your why behind that. But let me just revisit that for a second for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. Every year, I sit down and I say, this is the big thing I'm going to do. And sure, there's a lot of other things I'm going to do, but there's always one. There's always one huge thing on my list. There's always one huge thing that I want to accomplish. And then once I say what it is that I want to do, I back it up with my why. And my why is everything. My why supports why I'm doing this. For example, this year was to build Thrive Mindset, build the brand, share with you my ideas, do this podcast, create the journals, do all the stuff that goes along with Thrive Mindset. And my why is all of you. My why is to empower you and myself to create the life we are all dreaming of. Because I know that we can do it. I know I can do it, and I know you can do it. I just don't think that everyone has the tools or the knowledge or the information to do it. So my why is to teach you and show you that. Okay, so let's talk about how you support that why with good habits. When you are deciding to tackle a new habit, take the time to align it with your why. Okay, what do I mean? You've already committed to your goal and you've figured out what you are doing. Now, what will this habit do that will support you of that dream? Okay, so I talked about this last week. I know that gratitude and being thankful is the quickest way to raise my vibration and draw more positive energy to me. And if I want to manifest the life of my dreams, the more positivity I have, the faster those things will come my way. So if I know that and I'm wanting to align my habits with my why, well, then having a habit of gratitude totally aligns with it and aligns with my goal, it aligns with my why, and it makes complete sense for me to create that habit. And that will make it a whole lot easier to stick to the forming of a new habit. Next, I said you need to have a plan. So what is your action plan? To create a new habit, you have to take action toward it every day, which means you have to have a plan. You can't just say, I'm going to do it, and not have a plan. Take gratitude, for example, again. I would love to say that I am grateful for everything in every moment of every day. But quite frankly, I'm not. And it's not that I don't have the gratitude later or I don't think about it every morning. But in those moments, maybe I'm not sitting there thinking, wow, this is the best coffee I've ever had. Or I'm not thinking, gosh, I'm so grateful to have that coffee, because I kind of take it for granted because it's there every day. Although our coffee pot did break this week, so I didn't take coffee quite for granted, but you get the point. And because I'm not grateful in every moment, and I'm wanting to practice gratitude and raise that vibration, I have to come up with a plan for how I'm going to do that. So what does that look like? Well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy myself a journal so that I can write in it every day. And I can write down 10 things that I'm grateful for from the day before. And I can recall how that felt. And then I'm going to take that journal and I'm going to set it next to the chair that I sit in every morning. Why? Because it's going to be there when I sit down in the morning and I want to do my gratitude practice. And it will remind me. But if I need even more of a reminder, I'm going to set a timer for myself or an alarm that says, Carrie, journal your gratitude. This is my action plan, and this is how I'm going to succeed at creating a new habit. And you can do the same. It doesn't matter what that habit is, just have a plan and have it practical and manageable in chunks that you can do. Lastly, you need to ask yourself, is this realistic? And I only say that because we all do it. I mean, we do it with New Year's Eve resolutions. We set these ridiculous things that we are going to create into habits that there's no way we will succeed at. I know everybody does this, but for me, I'm going to just use exercise. I've done this time and time again where I have said, okay, I'm going to work out an hour every day because it's good for me. I know what it does to my body. I know how I feel after I do it. But to be honest with you, I can't stick to it. If I ask myself, is this realistic? It is not in the slightest. I will not stick to doing an hour every single day. I don't like to get up extra early to do it. I won't sacrifice coffee time with my husband. I won't sacrifice my morning routine, even though I probably should add exercise to my morning routine. But personally, I like to do it in the afternoon a little bit more. But anyways, I just know that that's not realistic. So instead, I have to say to myself, okay, what is more realistic of a commitment for me? And for me, that is saying 30 minutes. Now, some days I absolutely will do an hour. And other days, I barely make it to 30 minutes, but I can make it to 30 minutes. And I can mentally say, I can pause for 30 minutes and go do that. Or I can say, okay, just push 10 more minutes and you'll make it to 30. It's a realistic goal for me. And the other part of making that realistic for me is to elaborate on what is exercise. It, for me, is just moving my body. So it could be a walk, but it could even be a leisurely walk with my dog. Just getting out there in the fresh air. That to me is simple. But on other times, it's a run. Or it's lifting weights, or yoga, or Pilates. It doesn't matter. It could be dancing. But you see, what I've done is I've taken an unrealistic habit or commitment to a habit, and I've turned it into something that I really can commit to and that I can stick to and form a lasting habit. So in the beginning of this conversation, I mentioned that H is for habits, which that comes from the THRIVE of thrive, T being thankful, H being habits, R being reflection, I is for inspiration, V is visualization, and E is exercise. So you may be asking yourself, well, if H is for habits, you're just talking about all the other letters in thrive. And you're right, I am. It only because those to me are the ones that have made me the most successful. But like I said, sometimes I have to mix things up. And those habits of thrive are on autopilot for me. They are things that I do not bend on. I don't waver. I do every day, no matter what. They are part of my morning, my afternoon, and my evening every single day. And those are the ones that have gotten me as far as I have with manifesting the things that I want, with manifesting the life of my dreams. But I'm really trying to mix things up a little bit to propel myself to lift those vibrations and be able to manifest more. And for me right now, that looks like actually correcting bad habits. And that too is a tricky subject because you have to identify what it is that you have a habit of doing. And then you need to recognize when you are doing that habit unintentionally and subconsciously, and then correct it. And oh man, it's hard. For me, I'm really trying to work on confidence. I hate talking about myself. I know that sounds silly. I'm sitting here doing a podcast, but it makes me really uncomfortable to share with people things that I'm doing that I'm excited about, other than, my regular day-to-day real estate stuff. Because, well, that's what people know me as. They know that I sell homes and they know that I help people find the home of their dreams. And that to me is kind of part of that manifesting world. But my point is, unless you are my really close friends and my husband, it's scary. So I'm trying to break that habit. I'm trying to break the habit of being scared. I am trying to break the habit of constantly saying I'm sorry for things that I have no reason to be sorry about. And to correct those habits, I have to be aware of that behavior. So, for example, just this morning, one of my really good friends, she was texting me and, telling me about some stuff that's going on in her life. And I immediately texted back, I'm sorry. Why? Because I truly do feel for her situation. But as she and Jeff keep reminding me, no, you are not sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. And they're right, I didn't do anything wrong. So I have to catch myself, which I'm really proud of myself. This morning I did it. I typed out, I'm sorry, I hit send, And then I immediately replied, no, I'm not sorry. And then I corrected it with another term, and I can't say it right off the top of my head what it was, but it was something along the lines of, I feel for you and I wish this wasn't happening to you. And that is something I am working on. And then like with the confidence thing, I'm working on knowing that something that I love so much and that I am so passionate about does resonate with other people. And every time I practice it just a little bit more, I find in those conversations that I should be proud. So if you know me personally, don't be surprised if I start talking about it a little bit more, because it is a big deal. And like I said, I'm on a mission to help you and help you create the life of your dreams. So I have to share it. If you are looking to manifest the life of your dreams, I would suggest you start with one of the Thrive habits. Be thankful, reflect daily, find inspiration, visualize, and exercise. But if you don't do any of those things, don't try to do them all at one time. Don't try to start every habit today, because you will just get overwhelmed and then you'll be disappointed. So if you have to pick just one, I would say pick gratitude and thankfulness and create a gratitude practice. You can learn more about mine on last podcast on thankfulness, or you can read about it on my website, thrivemindset.io. It is a commitment to start a new habit, so choose wisely, whatever that is. And remember, I believe in you. You can manifest the life of your dreams.